Hello there, very good evening and welcome to the News Tonight, where we get you the day's top stories from India and across the world. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Congress hits out at the Modi government on several issues like Kashmir and the farmers' unrest. Working committee led by Sonia Gandhi meets as it seeks to unite the opposition for the presidential polls. Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi pushes for damages from DISCOMs as long power cuts haunt the national capital yet again. Met assures temperatures will go below 45 degrees soon, with monsoon rains expected to be 98% of long-term average. Two farmers are killed and 4 others injured in a police firing during a farmers' protest in Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh. Internet services are suspended in Devas, Indore and Ujjain. And Sher Bahadur Deuba is set to become the Prime Minister of Nepal for the 4th time. The Nepali Congress leader was the sole candidate for the PM election. Starting with politics and the main opposition party, the Congress, today hit out at the Modi government at the centre. The party's highest decision-making body, the CWC, criticised the NDA government on several issues, including the situation in Kashmir, farmers' unrest and the economic situation of the country.
Congress Working Committee, the highest decision-making body of the main opposition party, met in the national capital on Tuesday to take stock of the political situation in the country. Several leaders, including the party president Sonia Gandhi and former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, criticized the NDA government on several issues, including economy and social harmony.
सबका साथ, सबका विकास, लेकिन उसका बिल्कुल उल्ट किया इन्होंने। ये सिर्फ नारों और पब्लिसिटी की सरकार है, जो टेलीविजन में तो हीरो दिखती है, लेकिन जमीन पे जमीनी कामों में जीरो है।
Congress President, in her opening remarks at the meet, also hit out at the NDA government's Kashmir policy.
सरकार ने जो पॉलिसी कश्मीर के लेकर इख्तियार की है, वो कन्फ्रंटेशन और एलिनेशन की पॉलिसी इख्तियार की है। हमारे जवान रोज मारे जाते हैं, सिविलियन मारे जाते हैं, चाहे उसमें बच्चे हो, नौजवान हो। ये जो एलिनेशन की पॉलिसी है ये सरकार की, ये गलत पॉलिसी है।
The issue of elections to the post of President and Vice President of India also featured in the discussion at the CWC amidst attempts by the Congress to forge opposition unity on the issue. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya TV, Delhi.
Now, a day after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj rejected US President Donald Trump's claim that India signed the Paris Accord to get billions in foreign aid, Home Minister Rajnath Singh has expressed shock over America's decision to exit the deal. Singh said that Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the climate deal has shocked India and the international community at large. Expressing concern over the decision, Singh said that he was hopeful that the US will rethink its decision. The Home Minister also said that Trump's statement about the Paris deal implied that America's own concerns were paramount, which is a cause of concern for the world. Well, not just diplomatic temperature, the mercury too rising by the day in the national capital, and with it the annual worry of power cuts. The Delhi government on Tuesday decided, in fact, to direct DISCOMs to compensate consumers against unscheduled long power cuts. The heat wave has intensified across most parts of the country, but the Met has some good news. Most northern states are likely to receive some rain and dust storm by the weekend.
North India is reeling under an intense heat wave. Many cities have registered their highest temperatures in recent times. Delhiites continued to suffer for the second consecutive day on Tuesday as temperatures hovered in the mid-40s. To make matters worse, high humidity has further increased discomfort. The weatherman has predicted dust storm or isolated light rains from June 7th onwards. On Sunday, the temperature in some parts of the national capital touched 47 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, the soaring mercury level has pushed Delhi's power demand to an all-time high. The capital's peak consumption demand touched 6,361 megawatt on Monday, the highest ever recorded in any city in the country. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal held a review meeting with the Power Minister and Power Department officials and has directed DISCOMs to increase capacity to handle the pressure.
अगर 2 घंटे से ज़्यादा कहीं अनशेड्यूल्ड पावर कट होता है किसी इलाके में, तो उस इलाके के कंज्यूमर्स को उसका कंपनसेशन मिलना चाहिए। इसका प्लान पिछले साल बनाया था, वो हाई कोर्ट ने स्ट्रक डाउन कर दिया था कि एलजी से इसकी अप्रूवल नहीं ली गई। तो अभी सीएम साहब ने कहा है कि इसका पूरा प्रपोजल तुरंत आज ही एलजी साहब के पास भेज दें। और
In Uttar Pradesh, the temperature touched 46 degrees Celsius in capital Lucknow. The Bundelkhand region is the worst hit with mercury logging an average of 47 degrees Celsius. Punjab and Haryana continued to reel under blistering heat, with Amritsar being the hottest in 2 states at 46 degrees Celsius. Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district, known for its pleasant weather, also bore the brunt of summer. Heat wave conditions prevailed at many places in Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh as well.
बहुत बेहाल होए पे हैं गर्मी नाल बहुत बुरा हाल है वीरे कॉलेज आउंदा जमा ही दिल नहीं करदा एग्जाम करके आना पै रिहा वा बहुत औखा भाई जी बहुत औखा वा
ईयर से भी ज़्यादा यहाँ पे यानी कि ये हिली एरिया है, यहाँ पे इतनी गर्मी नहीं हुआ करती थी, लेकिन लास्ट 1 वीक से इतनी गर्मी ज़्यादा हो रही है और उससे बचने के लिए लोगों ने डिफरेंट जगह पानी के स्टॉल लगाए हुए हैं, अलग अलग जगह से फ्रूट लगा दिए गए हैं और काफ़ी जगह से क्योंकि किसी तरीके से जो भी लोग बाहर से आए हैं उनको राहत के लिए उन्होंने पानी लगा दिया ताकि लोग उससे बचें।
However, in what comes as a respite, the Met Department has said that the country's annual monsoon rainfall is expected to be 98% of the long-term average this year.
So, in view of the positive scenario for monsoon, we have upgraded All India figure from 96% to 98% of the long-term average for the 4 months of June, July, August, September of 2017.
In April, the IMD had forecast this year's monsoon rains at 96% of the 50-year average of 89 centimeter. With Anu Diwan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
At least 5 farmers were killed and 4 others injured in police firing during a farmers' protest in Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh. Following the violence, curfew has been imposed in the area. Internet services have also been suspended in 3 cities, Indore, Devas and Ujjain. However, State Home Minister Bhupender Singh denies that the state police was involved in the firing. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has ordered a judicial inquiry into the incident. He also announced a compensation of 10 lakh rupees for the victims' families. While the opposition Congress burst out at the BJP-led government and said that the ones who spoke about protecting farmers are now firing bullets on them. The party also asserts that it is with the farmers in this hour of need. Farmers in the region, remember, have been protesting since the 1st of June, demanding higher prices for their produce and loan waivers. The agitation by farmers has led to a shortage of milk and vegetables in the state.
हम उन परिवारों के साथ खड़े हैं। परिवारों की हर संभव सहायता की जाएगी। 10 लाख रुपए की सहायता राशि भी उन परिवारों को दी जाएगी।
उन पर जो फायरिंग बर्बरता से की गई है, ये मैं मानता हूं मध्य प्रदेश के लिए एक काला दिन है। किसानों की हकों की लड़ाई केवल मैं नहीं, एक नागरिक होने के नाते, पर कांग्रेस पार्टी का एक एक व्यक्ति इन मुद्दों को उठाकर आगे ले गया।
लगातार निर्देश थे पुलिस को कि कहीं पर भी अगर किसानों की कोई बात है या किसान कोई बात कर रहे हैं तो पुलिस की तरफ से सख्ती नहीं होना चाहिए। उसकी आड़ में असामाजिक तत्व लगातार पुलिस पर हमला कर रहे हैं। अभी भी पुलिस के द्वारा कोई फायरिंग नहीं की गई है। जो घटना हुई है उसकी डिटेल हमने बुलाई है।
पुलिस वाले भी पत्थर फेंक रहे थे, किसान भाई भी उन पर पत्थर फेंक रहे थे, दोनों तरफ से पथराव हो रहा था और तभी उन्होंने गोली चला दी। तो बबलू पाटीदार को गोली लगी थी पहले, टोटल 5 आदमियों को गोली लगी है। पत्थर तो और बहुत सारों को लगे हैं लेकिन गोली 5 को लगी है।
Meanwhile, doctors from across the country took part in a rally in Delhi on Tuesday to demand a stringent central law to curb increasing cases of violence against them by kin of patients. Around 10,000 doctors gathered at Rajghat with 100 ambulances after marching from 13 locations in the city. Here's a detailed report.
The Indian Medical Association on Tuesday held a protest march in Delhi against atrocities faced by the medical fraternity, including increasing cases of violence against doctors. The association organized Delhi Chalo movement, which saw the participation of over 10,000 doctors from various parts of the country.
उनकी मन के अंदर में मेडिकल के अंदर में जो वायलेंस हो रहा है, जो डर बैठा हुआ है, जो फ्री माइंड नहीं है, हमारे सिंगल विंडो रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है, सिंगल विंडो अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं है, प्रोफेशनल ऑटोनॉमी नहीं है, हमें काम करने दो फ्री माइंड से, ये हमारा बेसिक मुद्दा है. इसके लिए हमसे बैठे और बातचीत करें.
The protest aims to address various demands of the medical fraternity, such as capping of compensation, single window accountability with no criminal charges on doctors without intent to harm a patient, and single window registration of doctors and medical establishments.
हमारी डिमांड है कि ये स्वच्छ स्वास्थ्य सेवा हिंदुस्तान को मिलनी चाहिए. स्वास्थ्य सेवा का शोषण नहीं होना चाहिए. ये जो शोषण हो रहा है, ये जो सिस्टम चल रहा है, ये एंटी पब्लिक, एंटी पेशेंट्स है, एंटी डॉक्टर्स है. ये डॉक्टर्स पेशेंट्स का रिलेशनशिप खराब कर रहा है.
संगठित हैं आज हम और हैं हमारे हौसले बुलंद. अब नहीं है हम डॉक्टरों में कोई भी अंतर्द्वंद. हर सदस्य की मांगों का अपने मेमोरेंडम में करके समावेश, अपने अधिकारों की रक्षा ही है अब हमारा उद्देश्य.
The protest, however, did not affect services in government hospitals in the capital. Mohammad Fateh Tipu's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
A quick break here. We'll be back with more news in a bit. Stay with us.
Misty valleys, foaming rivers. Perched atop all these is Cherrapunji, also known as Sohra or Churra, which means the land of oranges. Year-round rain had once placed Cherrapunji in the record books as the wettest place on earth. Today, climatic changes have pushed it out of the top wet slot. But Cherrapunji continues to retain its pristine features. These perpetual clouds and the all-pervasive mists.
अगर बायलैटरल क्रिकेट टाइज नामुमकिन है तो मल्टीलैटरल इवेंट्स खेलने का क्या मतलब है?
आतंकवाद और खेल साथ साथ नहीं चलता.
कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है और जिस तरह से क्रिकेटर्स पैसे बना रहे हैं उन इश्यूज को अभी तक किसी ने डील नहीं किया है.
उसके ऊपर सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहले ही बैठी हुई है. मेरा रिएक्ट करना मैं नहीं समझता कोई नई बात होगी.
देयर इज एन इंप्रेशन दैट ऑल इज नॉट वेल बिटवीन यू एंड मिस्टर मनोज तिवारी.
कुछ गलतफहमी हुई थी वो दूर हो गई है. तो ऐसा तो हो जाता है, परिवार में भी हो जाता है, बाहर भी हो जाता है.
Watch to the point with Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports Vijay Goyal only on Rajya Sabha television.
Spread over an area of 450 square kilometers, the Bandhavgarh National Park is known for its breathtaking array of flora and fauna. Its geographical positioning has gifted a repository of over 250 species of birds and 22 different species of mammals. Though the park is considered as a real home of the Bengal tiger and the white tiger, another star attraction in the national park is a leopard. There are about 40 of these wild cats in the park. Bandhavgarh National Park was a former hunting preserve of the Maharaja of Rewa. The terrain is broken with rocky hill ranges running roughly east-west, interspersed with grassy swamps and forested valleys.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervor dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
St. Thomas Basilica, one of the world's 3 churches that is built over the Tomb of Apostles. St. Thomas was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ who brought Christianity to India. With an underground tomb where the remains of St. Thomas are laid, this magnificent basilica is of Gothic architecture. The stained glass of the church depicts some divine moments of St. Thomas's life. In 2006, this church was conferred with the status of national shrine.
Welcome back. Let's continue getting you more national news. And Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Minister Rajiv Rudy asserted on Tuesday that the entry-level demand for skilled workforce is huge in services and industrial manufacturing. He also stressed that the government has trained more than 1.17 crore people under various skill development programs. Rudy also said that states and private firms are being roped in to bolster skill development programs.
प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना के लिए कैबिनेट ने 12,000 करोड़ रुपए की स्वीकृति दी है। इसे 3 वर्ष में पूरा करना है। 1 करोड़ का लक्ष्य है और उसे राज्य सरकारों के साथ मिलकर भी करना है। इसलिए प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना का 25% राशि सीधे राज्य सरकारों को भी दिया जा रहा है ताकि स्किल इकोसिस्टम में प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना के काम को पूरी तरह से कर सके। उसके मानक बनाए गए हैं और अब बड़ा एंगेजमेंट स्टेट्स के साथ शुरू हो गया है और अभी तक हम लोगों ने 100% ग्रांट के रूप में प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना के लिए लगभग 550 करोड़ विभिन्न राज्यों को रिलीज किया है ताकि
And here are more updates from across the country and nationwide. The Income Tax Department has issued fresh summons to RJD Chief Lalu Prasad's daughter Meesa Bharti in connection with an alleged Benami property case. She was fined of 10,000 rupees for not appearing before the probe agency on Tuesday. The agency has now asked the RJD MP to appear before it on the 12th of June. It was alleged that both Ms. Meesa Bharti and her husband were involved in a 1,000 crore Benami land deal and tax evasion case. Former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran and his brother Kalanidhi Maran appeared before a CBI court in Chennai on Tuesday as accused in the illegal telephone connections case. 5 others accused in the case also appeared before the court today. The hearing on framing of charges will take place on the 28th of July. The Central Probe Agency had filed a charge sheet against the Maran brothers for causing a loss of 1.78 crore rupees to the Treasury. Two former Chief Ministers of Bihar, Lalu Yadav and Jagannath Mishra, appeared before a special CBI court in Patna on Tuesday in a case related to the fodder scam. The case relates to withdrawal of 47 lakh rupees illegally from Bhagalpur Treasury. The court had summoned the accused for personal appearance. A total of 45 persons were named as accused in the case. CRPF Director General Rajiv Bhatnagar visited Kashmir and interacted with troops on Tuesday. Bhatnagar also visited the Bandipora encounter site where 4 terrorists were killed on Monday after they attacked the CRPF camp there. Veteran parliamentarian Era Serian died in Vellore on Tuesday. Age 94, Serian was first elected to the Lok Sabha in 1962 on a DMK ticket representing Perambalur constituency. Later, he represented Kumbakonam in the 4th and the 5th Lok Sabha. In 1978, he was elected to Rajya Sabha on a Janata Party ticket. Moving our focus to international news now, Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deoba has been elected as the 40th Prime Minister of the country. This is the fourth time that Deoba has become the Prime Minister of Nepal. He will take the oath of office on Wednesday. Out of 593 parliamentarians, 388 voted in his favour. 70-year-old Deoba was the sole candidate to contest for the chair, as the main opposition, UML, or any other party did not register their candidacies. The veteran Nepali Congress leader first became Prime Minister in 1995 and later in 2001 and 2004. Election for new Prime Minister was held due to resignation by the CPN chief Pushpa Kamal Dahal from the post. Now to the Gulf crisis. In Saudi Arabia on Tuesday revoked the operating license of Qatar Airways and ordered the airline's offices to close within 48 hours with an increase in the regional diplomatic crisis. But the global airlines body IATA has opposed the restrictions on air travel to Qatar and demanded immediate restoration of air connectivity. Saudi Arabia has also closed its land border with Qatar, effectively blocking food imports and a segment of the country's exports over Doha's alleged support to terrorism. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump on Tuesday said that his trip to the Middle East was already paying off as regional leaders followed through their promise to take a hard line on funding terrorist groups. While supporting the action of isolating Qatar, Trump said that it's the beginning of the end. At least 7 people were killed and 15 wounded in a bomb blast in Afghanistan's Herat province on Tuesday. According to officials, a bomb hidden in a motorcycle in the parking area went off outside the Jama Masjid in the city. The bomb exploded when people were heading towards the mosque to offer prayers. No group has claimed responsibility for the blast yet. This is the second deadly attack in just a week in Kabul, where more than 150 people were killed and hundreds injured in a suicide truck bomb attack. And here are more updates from across the world in Global Buzz. The 3 attackers responsible for last week's attack in London have been identified. The accused include a Moroccan Italian, a Moroccan Libyan and a Pakistani-born, all residents of Barking in East London. 7 people were killed and 48 injured in Sunday's attack on the London Bridge. The death toll in last week's Kabul explosion has risen to over 150. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has called it the deadliest attack in the capital since 2001. Earlier, the country's intelligence agency had blamed Pakistan for the deadly suicide attack. A fallout of the allegation was the cancellation of the proposed home and cricket fixtures between the two by Afghanistan. A new chapter in the assault on the Islamic State's bastion Raqqa has been launched by the US-backed SDF after advancing to the city's outskirts. With air support from a US-led coalition, the forces have entered the city from the eastern district of Al-Mashleb. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the joint forces have seized a number of buildings after advancing to the city's eastern edge on Monday. With 2 days to go for Britain to hold a national election, Prime Minister Theresa May on Tuesday campaigned at Lancashire City. National security is dominating the agenda for the polls, especially in the light of the 3 terror attacks in the past 3 months. According to opinion polls, May's lead of the opposition Labour Party has fallen back over the last 3 weeks. China is in touch with Russia over India's entry into the elite nuclear suppliers group. This comes after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj's statement that India is engaging with Moscow and making efforts to convince Beijing on the issue. Chinese Foreign Ministry has made its stand clear on the issue, though, saying that China has said that the opposition on the issue remains unchanged, reiterating its 2-step approach. That's all we have for you in the news tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.